Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. Been sitting here trying to do a bit knitting, but I'm giving up. It's too hot. My hands are sticky. I can't get the knitting to. It's going too tight on the needle, and it's not sliding up and down as easy as what it normally does. So I think my knitting's only going to be done over night time because in this heat it is a little bit cooler. It hasn't been that much cooler over night time, but it is a little bit cooler. And when it gets dark, it tends to feel a bit cooler as well. So I'm going to have to give the knitting up until tonight. Something else I've noticed. Don't know if you can see, look, my knitting needle. You see a little bit patch here, different colour to the rest. That's because the stuff that they cover the needle with is wearing off. I've had these needles for years, and it looks like I'm going to have to buy a new pair. Must be too much use. That's that one there, where it's, if you turn it round, it's you can't see very well on here. But there is a silvery patch. That must be the metal underneath the whatever coating you've got on the needle. It's starting to wear off. Must just be the constant knitting, probably the speed that I do the knitting at. And this one I think is the same. Yeah, that one's the same as well. A little patch there. You can just see the silvery bit there that's shown through the needle. And I think that's making it a little bit difficult as well for the knitting to slide up and down past that. I've only just noticed that recently, actually, because the 4mm is the needle I use the most. I have another pair of 4mm, long ones like these. In fact, it's a little bit longer than this actually. But they're very old. I've had them since the size has changed from the old English size 8 to a 4mm. They were the first ones I bought, so they're probably about 50 years old. And I noticed quite a while ago when I was knitting anything with them, everything seemed to come out larger than it should done with those needles. So I used the gauge. You know, the gauge you have for measuring your needles, and it wouldn't go through the millimetre. It was too big, so it was in between the 4mm and the 450 size. They weren't 4mm, so they're not really suitable for knitting normal things that I'm supposed to be knitting 4mm needles with. I do use them now and again for other things. And then another thing I've noticed, this cardigan here, this is what I'm doing for Angela. I'm onto the second sleeve. What I have been doing, I've been sewing up what I can on it during the day because I can sew, which is okay. But the weight of it, sitting on my knee, was getting a bit warm. But anyway, I put the neck on it. And I stitched up the, I stitched up the shoulders first, then I put the neck on. And I've stitched one sleeve on and stitched the side. Now, this is something else. This is Aldi So Crafty. It's this Aldi So Crafty double knitting wool. But I swear this is not double knitting. It's thicker, and this cardigan is coming out a bit bigger. It's supposed to be 46 inches. It's going to be nearer 48. I've had it out flat and I've measured it, and I know I lost a little bit on the seams when I take the seam up, when I sew the seam up. But this cardigan is going to measure 48 inches, and it might be too big for Angela. The only thing I can do is send it to her, and if it is too big, get her to send it back to me, and I'll send her the money for the postage to send it back, because I have a feeling it might be a bit too big for her. But I'll not know until she try it on. I mean, anything I do for myself measures 42. I like the 42 inches across the chest. So I will try this on myself when it's finished, just to see how big it looks on me, and that'll give Andrew an idea whether it's going to be okay for her. But like I said, this wool, I swear, is thicker than double knitting, and that's how it's come out bigger. Because I've used an awful lot of Sew Crafty. And I used to do a swatch when I first started knitting with it, and it always come out 5.5 stitches to the inch, which is what most double knitting is. So I never did a swatch with one before I started this, because I thought, well, I know what the Aldi Sew Crafty comes out at. And I wish I had now, because to do it, it should measure 46 inches, what I'm doing, and I would have 100 and normally would be 5.5 inches. I would have about 135 stitches. That's the allowing a little bit extra for what you lose, a couple of stitches on each side for the seams, what you lose on the seams when you sew up. But looking at it and seeing it and looking like it was going to come out a bit larger, so I actually measured what I had done. I measured an inch across, and there's only 5 stitches to the inch, so this wool is definitely thicker than double knitting. And I have a ball of Aran here. So I have a large pack of this Aran. And this is the strand of the Aran. This is a strand of the, I'll put them together on here so it's easier to see. And you hold the 2 strands up. There's very little difference. And I swear this is nearly, it might not be quite as thick as Aran, but it is thicker than double knitting. And I wish I'd realised that before I started knitting with it. So Aldi wants to get their wool sorted out, because I've got quite a few other packs of this, and I'm going to have to do swatches with every single thing I knit with it, because I can tell by the feel of this cardigan, it just feels thicker than what I normally knit with in double knitting, and that is so annoying. But anyway, I'll see what it's like when it's finished, and get on to Angela and tell her what's what. And I thought that was my last order for a while, but looks like it might not be. But those wool down there. But like I'm saying, I was trying to knit in it, it's just too hot. And I can tell because the stitches just are not sliding along the needles like they should be doing. And my hands are just hot and sticky. It's just not nice trying to knit when your hands are like that. And it's not even that sunny today here. It's a lot of cloud. I'm looking out my window. It's just across the room here. There's a lot of cloud. There's little 1 or 2 sunny spells, but it is still quite hot. I've got the windows open all over the house, and there's not even a bit of a breeze coming in. I think I might have to go and buy myself a fan, but for the length of time we're going to have this this heat, because I know in the northeast we're lucky if we get a couple of days the same, but this is going to go on for most of this week. By the end of the week I think it's going to cool down, so I'll be happy about that anyway. I might be able to get back to my normal knitting. My hands are just hot and clammy, and I can't crochet though, because when I was sitting outside the other day, I'd been doing some gardening and I couldn't, I tried to knit and I couldn't because my hands were too sweaty. But I took my little bit, get the hook out here, my hook, because I'm just using one hook and you're only using one hand really, you know, the one's holding the thing and the other one's the wool and that. And I've got my little bag of odds and ends because I have got some more coasters to do for the girls for my bingo night. I did a few last time. I think I've lost count of the number of coasters I'm doing. They just keep disappearing. And there wasn't a lot of us last week, but there still wasn't enough coasters for everybody to have one for their class. And one of the girls was sitting there looking a bit guilty like, and her granddaughter was there, her 8-year-old granddaughter was there the week before. And there was one particular one I had did was like that sparkly, just like the white, but it had sparkle on it. And she just had a little soft drink and that, and she picked the sparkly one up to put a glass on, and that sparkly one has disappeared. It's not there. And my friend Tracy's looking there with a guilty look on her face, and I think they call her granddaughter Daisy. She says, I think Daisy took that one home, but she says she took the one that I had on my drink as well. She says, I've got a couple of them at home now. In fact, I've got more than a couple of them at home. So I said to them, you know, I only charge £1 for them. You can have a set of them. I'll make them for you if you want. No, they'll just wait for me to make them and bring them in. So I've got that to add to my little bag there, and I'll be doing some more. I'll probably sit this afternoon and do 1 or 2 more because I've only got until tomorrow night and I forgot all about them, because that's what they actually mentioned when we hand all the coasters back to there's the one girl that keeps all the stuff for the bingo, because we sort it all out ourselves. It's all our own. We buy our own books and the cloakroom tickets for the player cards, right, and everything. We sort it all out ourselves, so she keeps it all. So everybody's supposed to hand those coasters back to her at the end of the night, but they're not doing it. They're disappearing. So it looks like I'm going to keep on doing these for as long as I'm going to bingo, I think. So anyway, that's my little bit. I'm going to try and do a little bit knitting. I'll do it as long as I can till my hands get a bit too sticky, and then I'll probably go on to the coasters. So that's my little bit for today. Thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll let you see where I get round to next time. So bye for now.